It's
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Joyfully Married After Podcast with Heath and Tracy.
Hi, guys.
We come to you live every Monday night at 8 p.m. EST. We are so
EST. What's EST, babe?
That's Eastern Standard Time.
Okay. Yeah, I know that.
EST.
You always say EST. I'm like, do people know what EST is?
EST. You know, I like the staccato, the emphasis on EST.
Ooh, y'all. It's been one of those days. I think the daylight savings time is messing me up a little bit.
What should I do if they have any questions, baby?
Type them in the comments below. Of course. You know,
we're gonna do the show, right? This is kind of like the pre-show into the show, right?
Well, we normally record Joyfully Married After the podcast, like we just record it and then we post it later.
Right.
But we really like the idea of a live show.
We're doing it live.
We are doing it live.
We're gonna do it live.
Do it live. And so while we're recording, you want to just listen in and type your comments. And then after we're done recording the podcast, we're going to jump into the comments. So welcome to the show.
That's it? I mean,
what do you mean? Is that it?
I'm saying, are we starting the show now?
No.
Oh, okay. Hey, if you're new to relationships or you just need some direction on building a legacy, listen in.
What? You know, we've been sitting here for like 2 hours trying to figure this out.
What are we
and he
discussing
gonna
today?
ask me what's going on with the show?
What
I'm so confused right now.
No, I was thrown off by your use of the vernacular.
What vernacular?
Whatever you said, it threw me off. Yeah, like that was it. We're not gonna say anything else.
Oh no, baby. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So I was saying, what are we discussing today?
Today we're discussing, can you fix a sexless marriage?
Oh Lord. And if this is your first time here, I'm Heath.
And I'm Tracy.
Tracy and I are parents, podcasters, and joyfully married after 30 years. We're certified marriage counselors, HBCU grads, fathers, parents of 4 adult children.
Ooh, they all grown, y'all. They are all grown.
Tracy and I are also the founders of Marriage Money Mindset, which is a community that we have. You can go to heathandtracy.com and check that out.
To join. And you can also find the Joyfully Married podcast, Joyfully Married After podcast at heathandtracy.com or anywhere you listen to podcasting.
There you go.
Also, you can just hit the subscribe button and you can catch us here every week.
And if you're new here, definitely type new you down in the comments. We'd love to catch up with you after the show. Check you out.
Welcome to Joyfully Married After.
Boom. Welcome back to Joyfully Married After with Heath and Tracy.
So we're getting ready to record.
Okay.
You can type your comments or questions in the bottom.
Yep.
And when we're done, we'll get to them. So let's get into it. You got any stories for us tonight, baby?
I have so many stories, Tracy. Wow.
I need a story, baby.
30.
I haven't talked to you all
years
day.
Of marriage.
I know. We can talk about this daylight savings time.
Daylight savings time. Okay. Yeah. Let me talk about that.
Okay.
It's so unnecessary. It's like winter in South Florida. It's so unnecessary.
It's so unnecessary.
That's what Tracy said every winter.
Every winter. It's so unnecessary.
Winter is so unnecessary.
People don't know.
Daylight saving time is the same way in my book, right? It's like, it's dark. It's 5 o'clock. Why is it dark? What are we doing? Like, what is the purpose? It is so counterproductive and it's counterintuitive.
It is. It really is.
And we are sun people. We need light. We need sunshine.
We need the light.
We need to still be okay after work. Like, we can move around and it's not pitch black dark.
Exactly.
If that makes sense.
I don't. Well, I think it's for when we were farmers.
Write your congressperson.
They tried to pass it here in Virginia, but it failed last year, y'all.
Write your people and tell them.
We could have got them to change it last year. I don't know who likes it. Do the red people like it or the blue people like it?
Nobody likes it. Get rid of it.
Well, somebody likes it.
Get rid of it.
Somebody likes it, baby.
They don't do it in Arizona. They don't do it in Puerto Rico. Where is it? Guam.
Yeah, all the places that don't really belong to us, they don't do it.
No,
I think Arizona is the only continental state that
we ain't
does it.
doing that. It's dumb.
It is dumb.
Get it out of here.
And Arizona's been that way since 1968. So they've never done it. And Arizona's just fine.
It makes no sense.
It makes no sense.
So there you go. That's the story.
So that's our story.
Daylight saving time.
It. Yeah, we
Kick
had
rocks.
to do a little complaining.
Kick
we had to do a
rocks.
little complaining on that. Because that's too much right there.
We're gonna keep the vibe upbeat, but daylight saving time can kick rocks.
It can kick rocks.
So when we spring forward, let's just keep it right there.
When we spring forward.
When we spring forward in 22, let's just keep it right there. We don't need to do this.
But it's not gonna happen. Tell us what you think. Do you like daylight savings time or not? Put a 1 for yes, you like it, and put a 2 for kick rocks.
Whether on the live or on the replay.
Yeah, live or replay. Let us know.
Let us know. Let us know if you rocking with daylight savings time.
Okay, y'all. So when you met your partner, you feel like this passion.
Yep.
This I need to be with my people. I'm in love.
All the time.
And you both have, it's like emotional. It's like physical, and people say, ooh, I got these butterflies. I remember I couldn't wait.
Yep.
It was like Heath and I were at Howard and it was like, I couldn't wait to see him.
You still like that?
Yeah, I'm still like that. It's so funny. It is so funny.
That's
But
right.
are you like that?
Of course I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, we were inseparable.
Still
And that's how most people
inseparable.
are. People are inseparable. And people can't keep their hands off each other. You get married and everything's just like, oh my God, this is just going to be great like this the whole time.
Yep. You get through the honeymoon phase.
And you could probably never imagine not like getting to a point in your marriage and not having sex.
Coping with a sexless marriage is crazy.
And
sounding.
you know what? I have a girlfriend that told me that we are probably the only couple that she knows.
We meaning me and you?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's in this age range that has sex on a regular basis. And you might say, how does she know?
Right.
We have sex on a regular basis.
Just from like personal conversations.
Yeah,
with
personal
your
conversations.
friends,
She's that close of a friend to me.
Yeah, in the circles.
Exactly. And she's like, girl, ain't nobody having sex. And I was like, excuse me? This was like a thing. And I was like, I didn't know.
Right.
I didn't know it was a thing that married people weren't having sex.
No, I didn't know it was a thing.
And a lot of people have a tendency to think that, the marriage can last like this. And it can. It can. I don't know why.
Okay, let me rephrase. Not mine. Maybe there are some marriages out there that can survive sexless marriage, but
because people cope with it, babe.
Yeah, and then I think for the edification of our audience, I think we also have to define sexless.
How you? Why I need to define sexless?
I think in some of the data we were reading, right, it talked about sex less than once a month. That they were terming that
and
sexless.
10 times. Okay, so if you have sex
less than once a month,
then
that was like into the category of sexless,
right?
Yeah,
or 10 times a year, then that is considered a sexless marriage.
Right.
So what we want to talk about is how people deal with it, and then we've got some cures for you if you're interested.
Yeah.
So the first thing is don't sit back and just accept it. It's not normal. It's just not normal, and you shouldn't accept it that way. Go back to when you first got started and why you got married and why it was exciting and how that person made you feel and the intimacy connected to that, because it's definitely a connection. When Heath and I get really busy in our jobs and in life and everything, just things going on, and we haven't had sex in a minute, it gets weird.
Yeah.
It gets really weird.
Like, that's how to kill too. Yeah,
so sometimes we just stop and we just have sex because it's just,
let's get this thing fixed.
It's a connection point.
Let's get it back on track.
It is for us. I don't know.
It's like a reboot. It's like a reboot for a computer.
It's like a reboot, y'all. It's really cool.
Yeah.
So let's talk about what causes a sexless relationship. Okay.
Yeah, let's get into that. Okay.
So most couples don't choose this. This is not like a choice, right? And it happens gradually. Wouldn't you say?
Yeah, it just evolves over time, right? It's like, something happens. Maybe there's some kind of trigger mechanism, some kind of event that causes some inconsistency, and then the next thing you know, it just begins to lull and evolve, and the next thing you know, now there's no regularity.
The newness begins to wear off, right? So
I don't even think it's newness, right? It's just something happens in your pattern, right? It could be after the honeymoon period, or it could be, several years into the marriage.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, at the end of the day, it definitely evolves, and it happens gradually, typically.
Long work hours, financial stress.
Absolutely.
New kids, moving, education, work, new projects at work. And then what happens is you fall into that rut, like I mentioned to you earlier.
Right.
And you just don't recover. You just kind of get used to it. If you say, well, he didn't say anything, she didn't say anything.
All right, must be all right.
It must be all right.
But it's not.
So weeks, like days turn into weeks. Weeks turn into months.
Yep.
And this is like no intimacy, y'all. And then all of a sudden you're in a no-sex marriage. Right.
It is not. It's not kosher.
No. And it's caused by emotional, I'd say, emotional health.
Yeah, it could be emotional, could be physical.
Right.
Could be mental health.
It could be depression.
Yeah.
It could be stress.
Absolutely.
Medication. Some medications. I was on medication when we were young in our marriage. And he was like, I don't know what this is. It was a birth control. It was Depo-Provera.
We were like, yo, this is not going.
What was that? A shot? I used to get a shot.
I think it was a shot.
Yeah, I used to get a shot. And because I was really averse to pills. So I said, my doctor suggested this Depo-Provera shot. And
it didn't work.
It was.
It did what it was supposed to do, but it had the side effects was not working for our marriage.
It was awful, and I felt awful. It was it was awful.
It was like a double whammy.
It just killed my libido. It literally killed my libido. And I think
you like young, you in your 20s and
right,
early 30s and whatever it was.
So we figured it out.
Yeah,
we
had
figured
to get rid of that shot.
And then we had 3 kids.
Pop. Boom, boom, boom.
So, and then the other thing I think with people is you find that, you're a morning person or they're an evening person. Or, you don't like to, you like to do it in the shower or they like to do it in a certain place.
Still
or
not
a certain
matching
way.
up.
It's just not matching up.
Maybe you like it more frequently than them.
Right. And you call it mood. You say, I'm not in the mood.
Right.
And it's like, when I'm in the mood, you're not in the mood. And when they're in the mood, you're not in the mood.
Yeah.
So that can conflict too.
Yeah, you gotta work through that.
You gotta work through it though, right?
Yeah, figure that out. Absolutely. Yeah, because that can happen, right? Even with people who are well matched at the beginning of the relationship, but maybe there's just kind of a natural rhythm that is off in terms of the way that they mesh.
Right.
So you have to kind of figure out, okay, it's like, let me make some adjustments. All right, let me, tamp this down, or hey, maybe I need to, ratchet this up a little bit so that we can be, find that even tone for one another.
So when you think about it, are you taking full responsibility for it if you don't meet it head on? I think it's just really important to be responsible in that. You have to address what's the root of the problem and what you yourself could be doing to fix it.
Right.
You don't just start blaming one another. If it's a health issue that you need to get fixed to create intimacy, do that. Find a way to create intimacy in new ways. Maybe you have more oral sex. Maybe you have sex in different areas of the house. Maybe you meet outside of the house. You have to figure it out. You have to come up with new ways.
Yeah, let's get a nice hotel. Let's have a romantic dinner.
Exactly. It's just all kind of things. So can it survive? Can a sexless marriage survive, babe?
Yeah, I mean, sex is a bit different than water, than food.
Yeah.
Right? Like you can't survive. You can't live without those things. I think it can
survive. I don't think it can survive.
I think a relationship, a marriage can survive. I don't know that it can thrive.
That's a very good point. I think that's perfectly said. Yeah, lack of sex can lead to decreased intimacy.
Right. And that's really what it's about,
like
right
we
there.
said before, no connection with your partner.
Yeah. The intimacy is really where it is, right? In terms of that connection, and the sex and the intimacy are not one and the same, but they are certainly interconnected. And I think that when you don't have intimacy in the relationship, that's really the piece that you need to work on, right? And so that's where the communication is going to happen between the two of you. That's where you're going to need to kind of come up with some common ground, figure out some of these things that we're talking about here, right? Like, what do we need to do? Do we need to plan time? Do we need to put some things on the calendar? Do we need to make sure we go to the doctor and make sure we're all good because I had this problem and it was causing this? Or,
right.
Those kinds of things, right? Do we need to start having a consistent date night during the week? Those kinds of things.
So it can build feelings of resentment too. And so you're going to have decreased intimacy. You're going to have decreased connection. And then you're going to have feelings of resentment, right? Which probably leads to infidelity. So that's why you want to fix this issue in your relationship. If you are a distant relationship, let's talk about people that are in the military. You still need to figure that out.
Yep.
You still need to find a way to have that intimacy,
right,
that connects you physically and emotionally, right? If you have a disability or a medical condition, there are ways around that. You really got to move to that. So how to fix a sexless marriage? How do you fix a sexless marriage, babe?
Well, I think the first thing you have to do is make sure you get back into a realignment. I think it's called realigning your polarity.
Yeah, like the he and the she, the female energy and the male energy. I think it's important to know, and people talk about this a lot, the alpha male and the feminine woman, and women aren't, wanted anymore because they're not as feminine. Well, it doesn't matter who is feminine and who is masculine,
or where the energy is coming from,
or where the energy is coming from. It's just a matter of are both there.
You got to align them,
right? So there's always a feminine energy and there's always a masculine energy, whether it's in heterosexual relationships or homosexual relationships, whatever it is. It's always a masculine and a feminine energy. So that's what we mean when we say realignment. You have to realign those. You have to make sure that they're both in existence. And if they're both in existence, you can get your juju back. So if a woman has gotten more responsibilities at work, if she's got to meet a bunch of deadlines, if she has, meetings with men all the time, and just, that's going to be a different energy coming from her. That's going to be a more masculine energy. If the man has lost his job recently, not really being able to be the main breadwinner, he's going to have more female energy.
Yeah.
So the thing about that is it still aligns.
Yep.
You can't get into who is supposed to be what.
Right.
In that moment in your relationship, it is what it is, and it should still work.
You're talking about like gender roles and those kinds of things.
No, that's the polarity. That's realigning your polarity.
You're talking about the energy.
The energy, If a man feels like, oh, she's making more money, well, get in touch with your feminine side. Everything else gonna still work the same way.
Right.
But get in touch with your feminine side. If she is leaning that way, you need to lean the other. It needs to be polar.
Yep.
It needs to be polar, no matter what it is, no matter what, if it's hetero or homo, it does not matter.
Some level of opposites.
It has to be that you have to be at different ends like that. Feminine and masculine. Remember that. Number 2 is date each other.
Yeah. I kind of touched on this earlier, right? In terms of, you have to harken back to what it was like at the beginning. Or what it was like when you were going through that phase of your relationship where it was just like, hey, let me do something nice for you. Hey, let me take you to this place. Hey, let's go and do this thing.
Take your significant other a latte, their favorite latte at lunchtime. Bring them breakfast in bed. If they're sitting around watching their favorite show, do a nice spread. I'm a charcuterie girl. I love me some charcuterie and some tequila. Is that weird?
Hey, date in the house. If
It's
that's what you like, then let me serve it up.
And he does.
Right?
And it will pick the show I want to watch.
Yep.
That's a date. We also do brunches together.
Yep.
That's a date day for us.
We do have brunch days.
We do have brunch dates.
Little date days.
We do date days. Go.
That's
and
another pro tip right there, baby. It doesn't always have to be a date night.
No,
right?
Absolutely not.
It could be a date day. We love us a museum.
Yeah, we do museums. We do them and the parks.
Oh man, parks. And
we
museums.
love gardens. So we can find us a garden. Oh, we're just in heaven. Another way to realign your intimacy and get it connected again and start having sex again is to communicate.
Got to talk, right? And especially for the guys out there, right? You have to understand that your woman likes to talk. She wants to talk. She needs to talk, and you need to listen. You need to engage. You need to give her the opportunity to talk, right? And now what you're going to find is, one, you might learn something, and two, you don't even have to talk that much, right? If you locked in and you're in tune while she's going on and on about what it is that's on the top of her mind, you can hit her with that. Wow, I see.
Yeah, I mean,
tell me more.
Put the phone down.
Oh, baby, I didn't realize that was where you were coming from. Give me some details about that.
Turn the TV off, right?
You got to communicate.
Open your mouth.
Right.
Say what you are feeling. Say how you are feeling.
Right.
And it leads to the next one, letting yourself become vulnerable.
And that's hard for a lot of people, right? Especially for those people that have kind of these exteriors where they're a little more stern, or they're a certain type of way, right? Maybe they're a little more masculine energy, what have you. The point is that you have to make sure that when you're in a marriage relationship, you got to be vulnerable.
You have to be vulnerable.
You have to communicate with your person and let them know what it is that you're feeling, and be your true self, right?
Yeah, the vulnerability aspect of being in a marriage, I think if you don't show your vulnerability, you're not really showing yourself to your person. You're saying to them, I don't trust you.
Right.
So if Heath were never to say, I'm stressed, or I'm thinking about this thing and it's bothering me, or what you said bothered me, or if I don't say, I didn't like the way that was, if we don't learn how to say that to one another, we're not being vulnerable. And when we're not vulnerable, we're showing that person, I don't trust you.
Yeah.
So that's very, very important.
And trust is so key, right, in a relationship. You have to make sure that if you're being open and honest and vulnerable in your relationship, then that's really building that trust, right? That's a key pillar of your relationship and your marriage.
Right.
And so now that person knows that they can trust you, that they can be intimate with their thoughts, with their mind, and now that's going to open up the door for more intimacy.
Exactly.
Yep.
So, and the fifth one is to keep an eye on your relationship.
Keep your eye on it.
Keep your eye on your relationship.
Pay some attention to it.
Pay some attention to it. And you could say, well, what is that? Right?
You got to water your garden. You
have to water your garden. It's like you look at other people, you look at other people's relationships, and you wonder what you think you see, why it's thriving. And that's all wrong. That's all wrong. You have to stay focused on the two of you. You have to stay focused on what you two are doing.
Right.
And you have to stay focused on what your goals are, what your dreams are, and how you want to live your life with this person. I think something that you said to me was very poignant, baby. You said, when I decided to be married, I decided that if I'm going to be married, that I'm going to be happy in my marriage. And so if you aren't paying attention to your relationship, like if you are having a sex problem, if you are not having sex, you need to fix it.
You gotta pay. You're not paying attention.
You're not paying attention. That's like going to work and not getting paid. I don't understand that.
Right.
I don't understand. That's like going to work and just whatever they put in your bank account, you're like, okay, I'm just going to take that, even if it's wrong. Do you know how many people get paid wrong on a regular basis because they don't pay attention to it?
Yeah.
I am not that person. But there are people that this happens to, and you can't think of it like that in your relationship. You wouldn't do that. You wouldn't just not look at it. You would have to keep an eye on it. What are some did you want to say something else about that?
No, I was just going to say that that when you're paying attention, not only are you thinking about yourself, but you're thinking about your partner, right? And if you're not getting the things that you need out of the relationship, then that means that there's something that you're doing or that you're not doing. And so that's where it ties back to the communication with your partner. And when you're engaging, then you're going to figure out, okay, look, I'm not happy. I'm not getting what I need. So let's talk about it. Let's figure it out.
Exactly.
And then that's going to help you course correct and go down the right path.
Okay. So we found some frequently asked questions around sexless marriages. We already answered the one, is sex once a month considered a sexless marriage?
Yes.
The answer is yes. Once a month is considered a sexless marriage, once a month or 10 times a year. Another frequently asked question is, how long do sexless marriages last? They say that they really don't know, but, it's like
that it can last a lifetime.
Yeah.
But I think there's not a specific data point that they're tracking with like divorce rate and that kind of thing. But I think it's very safe to say that lots of those divorces that are happening probably have some sexless elements in them. And so you just want to bear that in mind.
Yes. The next question is, do you stay faithful in a sexless marriage?
Yeah, so I think that's a really
so basically
question.
If your spouse isn't giving you sex, do you stay faithful?
I think it's a really important question, right? Because I think that when you decide to become married, there are certain things that come along with the marriage.
Right.
And if you're in a sexless marriage, well, let me speak about it for me. So for me, if I'm in a sexless marriage, that's not working for me.
Right.
And I'm committed to my marriage, and I'm committed to being happy, being joyful. So for me, the answer is very simple. I need to communicate better with you.
Right.
And I need to get at the bottom of what's happening with me and you.
Yes.
So that can be fixed. And then I don't have the issue of, am I going to stay faithful in my sexless marriage? Because my marriage ain't going to be sexless.
No, it's not. it is not.
But I think a lot of people can utilize that approach, right? And so,
but I think the question is, does it justify infidelity?
Yeah, no, I don't think that it justifies infidelity, but I also think that it forces you to have a conversation
about the larger problem.
Are we going to course correct here?
Right, but
how are we going to work on these things? And if you have one person who is all about fixing it, figuring it out, and you have the other person who refuses,
that's
now
a whole other problem.
What you may have to do is you may have to come to a decision about if you're going to stay in the marriage or not.
Well, right? I think there's a bigger problem there if that's what's going on.
Yeah, but I'm saying that doesn't give you the right to just go all over town and like, my wife ain't giving it to me, so I got to go and do this. Like, no, you're still married.
No. I'm saying, but if that person is saying, I'm not giving it to you, there's a reason.
Absolutely.
There's a reason for that.
Absolutely is a reason.
Right. So that's what we're talking about. So the answer is, if there's a temptation involved to go outside of the marriage, that needs to be addressed.
Right.
If there is a non-willingness to have sex, you need to figure out why, right?
And one thing is for sure, if you go all over town gallivanting with folk while you're married, that sexless marriage will definitely dissolve.
Continue to be. It will continue to be sexless.
And it will dissolve.
Exactly. Exactly. What percentage of sexless marriages end in divorce? You can just say, we don't know the answer to that question, but more than likely, if you think about 50% of people get divorced, probably most of them were related, or a lot of them were related to sexlessness. And is a sexless marriage grounds for divorce?
Yeah, I thought this was very interesting in terms of the answer, right? And the answer is sexless marriage can be grounds for an at-fault divorce.
Yes, it can. Yes, it can.
Like, look, this is part of the agreement.
Especially if one partner is purposely withholding sex as like punishment or refuses to seek help, just like we said. But you have to reconnect. When you come to a sexless marriage, you have to go deeper and find out why. Why is this a sexless marriage?
Right. What you want is to be if you do have this scenario, what you want to be is the couple who dug in, communicated, engaged, went through what you needed to go through, figured it out, and improved that relationship.
Perfect. Okay.
Good job, baby.
That was it. But we did forget one thing.
What did we forget, baby?
Your intro, babe.
You mean my outro?
No, your intro.
What? How did we forget my intro?
Your question.
Oh, what is a sexless marriage?
You got it. Welcome to the Joyfully Married Podcast, episode number. What number is it?
I don't know, but we have to go
73. Let's
So
do it. Let's do it right now. Let's do it
But
real quick.
we don't know the correct number, though, do we?
It's 73.
You think so?
Yeah. No, 72. It's 72. I'm sorry. We're going to say 72. Jacob can fix it if you want. You ready? Let's go. Okay, well, I'm going to do it.
I'm not ready. So I'm going to ask the question.
Like you always do, but we
Okay.
do it at the beginning.
Okay.
It's 72. You ready?
Can you save a sexless marriage? This is the Joyfully Married After Podcast, episode 73.
Do 72 too, just in case.
All right. Can you save a sexless marriage? This is the Joyfully Married After Podcast, episode 72.
Okay, we got it. The things that happen live, guys. The things that happen live.
Oh,
Welcome to the
man.
show. Welcome to the show.
Y'all witnessed a live version of Joyfully Married After. That was
I
pretty
know.
cool, right?
It's pretty cool, isn't it? Hello.
What's up, Donita Man?
Hello.
Yeah, I said hello to her
From the
earlier.
Walkers. We had a great brunch with
What's
the
up?
Walkers
What's up,
the other
Abraham?
day. Hello.
How the walkers tonight?
Great tips for the keeping the spark in the relationship. You got to keep it going. You
Yeah.
got to keep it going.
It's
Keep
all
them hips
intertwined.
moving. My hips don't lie. My hips don't lie. I
Keep it moving.
don't know what you call it.
That was
Keep
good,
the hips
baby.
moving. The hips don't lie.
I read somewhere that wasn't it
Libby.
like the most.
Good evening, Libby. I'm sorry.
I'm
sorry. I got excited.
Hey, Libby. How are you? Hope you're doing well. Say hello to your husband for me.
Oh, gosh. Now, what were you saying?
I was saying, I don't know what. Oh, I was talking about Shakira, and I read somewhere recently that like she's the most searched entertainer or something like that.
Shakira?
Shakira, yes. I was like, what? I did the same thing you did. Like, what?
She's the most searched entertainer.
That she is the most searched entertainer out there on the Google sphere.
No, not at all.
Shout out to the Walkers. What's up? What's up?
So I'm looking for that article I sent you. I kind of wanted to talk about this too.
Yes, Libby. Good vibes always.
Always good vibes.
Sending them out to you. Absolutely.
Always good vibes.
Good vibes. Upbeatness.
Oh, I know what I want to talk about.
Talk about it, baby.
There's several things. So part of this is going to be our podcast next week. But I did want to give you a preview.
Okay. Give them the preview.
And
then.
the preview is this.
What's the preview? You talking about what in preview in terms of what we're going to talk about next week?
Yes.
So next week on our live podcast, Joyfully Married After Live, we have another subject to cover.
Right.
And it is multiple subjects, as I recall, wrapped into one.
Yes.
It's like we're going to be talking about a bunch of stuff.
Right.
But it's one kind of theme that we're going to be going after.
So the question is.
What's the question, Ms. Tracy?
Is it time for another wife?
Is it time for another wife? Okay, that's a loaded question right there, though.
Is it loaded?
That's a loaded question. Like,
what y'all think about that?
is it time for another wife?
What was that? Do it again. I don't like that music.
No, but it went very well with "Is it time for another wife?"
I think it's more like this.
That's the Twilight Zone music.
Oh Lord, y'all! So I brought this up because I was watching. You know me, I'm a YouTube person.
YouTuber.
So I was watching one of these people or groups that I watch, and that one of the speakers was talking about she wasn't going to have a problem if her husband wanted another wife because she was tired of doing everything.
Okay, so what was she tired of doing though?
They said the woman does everything. The woman cooks and the cleans, and she works outside the home, and then she comes home and takes care of the kid.
Okay.
And
so she like, look, let's go on and get down with sister wife game because I'm tired. That's what she was saying.
Yeah, she was saying that. And I was like, no, I don't
sure
need a wife.
Not sure that's the answer.
I don't, yeah. And
Not sure that's
exactly. So Libby said yes. Libby said yes.
Libby said, get another wife in
Get
here.
another wife in here.
Get him in here quick.
No, so she was saying her husband could afford it.
Uh-huh.
And so she was ready. She's like, I'm tired. I'm ready.
Okay.
And so I think it speaks to gender roles also.
Okay.
Right? And how gender roles are related to housework and taking care of the kids. I saw some Republican person say the other day, the family is broken because the mother was taught to take care of the people.
Right.
And that's not being taught anymore. So the family's broken.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I agree with that. I mean, that's really a gender role conversation, though, right? So we'll get into that, too. Yeah.
Libby says she's calling Shakira.
You calling Shakira? Got to get the hips moving.
Got hips don't lie. Everybody need to get the hips moving. Okay.
It all comes back to the hips.
Said something. She also said something about the history of marriage and how it's acceptable, and there are not enough men anyway. And if the man is an alpha male, then he can handle it. Yep. And
I've heard a lot of these arguments in different places and different spaces, right? And I've also seen it play out on Sister Wives. It doesn't seem to have a happy ending.
It doesn't look like a lot of fun. It doesn't. But
we're gonna get into that though.
We're gonna get into that next week, guys. Yeah. So get your questions ready and let's have a discussion about Sister Wives and adding another person to the marriage. And what do you think about it?
Yes.
Right. I shut down a little thing.
That's
so,
what did you shut down, baby?
Don't worry about it.
Okay.
We're all set though. I think that is it.
Okay.
We want to say thank you for joining us this evening.
I always appreciate our audience.
We'll be here again next Monday at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. EST.
We'll also be here tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night. What are we doing tomorrow night?
Tech Tuesday.
Tech Tuesday with Heath. Oh, it's Heath and Tracy now.
Tech Tuesday tomorrow night.
Everything's Heath and Tracy.
And then
it was just like Tech Tuesday with Heath.
Again on Saturday morning.
But we got the special guest appearance from Queen Tracy.
Oh, on
you got like the ongoing cameo on Tuesday.
The ongoing cameo. I'm gonna figure out how to be like a little circle or something. And then we have Design Your Life in DMV on Saturday mornings at 11. Get your coffee and talk about living here and what it's like. And we'll be back here again next week to talk about getting another wife.
Okay.
On No, I don't think so. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean, baby.
I know you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
I know you know what I mean. But thanks again for joining us, guys. Don't forget.
Stay connected. Stay connected to your family. Stay connected.
No.
Stay connected to God.
Let's try that again, dear.
And remember, stay connected. Stay connected to God. Stay connected to your family. And stay connected to your spouse.
Or your significant other.
We love y'all. Take care. Have a great evening.
Good night.